So it's about the middle of May now, and as you can see, the boysenberries are fruiting. We've been getting a lot of berries from them every day. And you might think, well, okay, we worked hard all year, we pruned them and did everything we were supposed to. Now's the time to kind of sit back and harvest the berries and enjoy the fruits of our labor, literally. But that would be a mistake, because there's actually something very important that we need to do right now, and that's what I'm going to show you in this video. The key thing to know is that these boysenberry plants are doing two different things right now. They are producing berries on the floricanes from last year, and they're pushing new growth, primocanes, which will contain the berries next year. It's not like they finished making all the berries on the floricanes. Okay, now that's done. Now you can clean up the floricanes, and then here comes the primocanes. No, they're doing them both at the same time. And why that can be an issue is that, like you see this is a primocane that we need to preserve for next year, and it's already 4 feet long, growing up into the old floricanes. If we don't properly guide it now, more or less in the direction that it needs to go, it's going to start lignifying. I mean, it already has. Like, this part down here is hard. If you tried to bend this too much, it's just going to break, and then there goes your primocane, right? So what we have to do is somehow guide this new growth and tie it up to the trellis in a way that still allows us to cut out all the old floricanes when they're done fruiting, which is going to be at least another week or two, because it's still got a whole bunch of red berries on it that aren't ripe yet. This right here is one crown. Okay, this little, I know it's hard to see, but like where my hand is right now, this is one crown, one plant, okay, in the ground. We've got, let's see, this here is a floricane from last year. That's got berries on it. It's going way up over there. And then we've got this one that's going up over here and wrapping around on the top. So these are the two old ones from last year that's got the berries on them right now. Once their berries are done and we harvested them all, we'll cut those out. But right next to those, literally, if you could see down at the ground, I know you can't, but they're touching at the ground. Like the new primocane is touching the old floricane. That's how close they are. And that's why it can be an issue to try to guide them in a way that doesn't block you in from removing the old floricanes, because we can't just leave the old floricanes in here. They're going to build up, and then we're going to have a mess like we did when we started. So what I've done is I took this primocane here, and I've tied it up here because I decided I want it to go down this way on the top. This one I took and tied up going this way, and I'm going to have it go on the top this way. There was another primocane down there that was smaller than these two and weaker looking, and I cut it off at the ground because I only want a maximum of 2 primocanes per plant, so that the plant will focus all of its energy into producing berries on those 2 primocanes. I mean, you can let it grow more, but you might get less berries per cane, maybe less berries total, or smaller berries. I mean, there's different combinations, ways you can play with it. But my way is I go 2 primocanes per plant. And now I've got those, and I tried to figure out, like, okay, can I let this grow that way and tie it in a way that's not going to prevent me from cutting out these old floricanes when the harvest is done? And I have to do that for every plant. Like, here's one. Hold on, let me move the camera. So I don't know how well you can see this, but see, there's more plants here. This is the one we were just looking at, and there's several here, too many, actually, right next to each other. But regardless, I have to decide now which of these primocanes I want to keep and which ones I want to cut off and get rid of. And I'm basing my decision on which ones look the best, which ones are the biggest and the strongest, but also which ones are growing in a direction that's going to allow me to do everything I need to do as far as trellising and removing the old floricanes when they're done making berries. So that's just something I have to decide. I've already got one of them that's like, geez, it's probably already 5+ feet long, tied up going that way. And then I see another one here that I have to decide where I want to go. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plants in this tiny box by my count, which is way too many. You don't want to have this many close together, but my mom had planted these, and I just had a thought, maybe what I need to do once I prepare this other land to the west of us, where you're sitting right now, once I kill all the grass and get that ready for more boysenberry rows, maybe what we should do is take a side off this box, or just take the whole thing apart for a second, try to dig out some of the plants and transplant them over to there, and reduce the amount that's in this box, because this just makes it really difficult. The way we did the seedlings over there that we showed in a previous video, where we've got the plants, like I think they're like 6.5 feet apart or something like that, 6 feet apart, makes a lot more sense for this rather than having 8 in a little, 10 square foot space or whatever this is. So basically, just be aware that you can't let your guard down now when it's harvest time, because that's precisely when you need to figure out your primocane situation and get them trellised. I didn't do that last year in time, and by the time I came out here, I had super lignified primocanes that were like 8 feet long. A lot of them were broken in the wind and the storms and stuff. They flop around, and once they get hard, they start getting hard, they'll break easy. So you don't want to let it get to that point. You want to do it now, when it's easier to move them and to decide and make your decisions. Then the only real challenge after that, once you've got them tied up, is after the harvesting is done and all the berries are gone, you need to be able to cut out the old canes without damaging the primocanes that you just put up. So you got to keep that in mind too. One idea I had was to use extra wires. Like, see, there's this empty wire right here. If you were able to train this year's new growth onto this, then it could just stay there and become a floricane. When the harvest is done, you could cut the old floricanes off of the other wires that they're on now, and then those wires would just remain bare all year. And next year you would alternate and repeat the process by letting the new growth come on this wire and then cut the floricane off of this, and just alternate year after year. It uses a little extra materials. It wouldn't be a lot of extra materials at this scale, but it's something to think about. It might work. I think if you catch these primocanes, the new growth, at the right time and tie them up loosely, you can probably avoid having to use extra wires, but it's just an idea to keep in mind. It might make it easier depending on your setup. But let me show you the new seedlings, how they're doing. Here's the new seedlings that we planted last fall. They're doing really well. This one's about 2 feet long, maybe 2.5, something like that. It's sending up a lot of canes from the crown, which is what we want. I've got it temporarily tied up to here just to kind of lift it up out of the cage. I've got these cages on it so the rabbits and deer don't mess with them, but once they start lignifying, they're not going to mess with them anymore. This one I could actually probably just about tie to this. What I want to do, as you might remember from previous video, is I want one cane to come up to here, then I'll cut it off, and I'll take 2 of these like side shoots. One will go on here and one will go on here. Then I'll take actually this one's probably going to go up top because it's longer, so I'll let it go all the way up here and do what I said. I'll have one cut it off at the top and have one side shoot going north and one going south, and then I'll take the second most vigorous cane and it'll come here, get cut off, and then it'll go have side shoots going this way. And because of the way I've got these spaced, we're going to have about 3 feet of growth on each side of the plant. So 3 feet that way, 3 feet this way. The next plant will overlap with that because they can overlap. That's fine, doesn't hurt them. And same thing on top, we'll have 3 feet this way and 3 feet that way, and I'll cut the ends so they don't keep growing. And I think that's going to maximize berry production by not letting the canes grow 25 feet long. and just have them focus all their energy into that 3, 6, 9, 12 feet of cane approximately. And because of the way I have them spaced, we're not going to have as big of a problem with trellising the primocanes like what I was just talking about. This system kind of eliminates a lot of those issues. If you've got your plants all smashed together like in there, which, you know, I don't recommend if you're starting out, don't do it like that. But if they're already like that and you got to deal with it, you really got to think about, like I said, at this harvesting time, here it's in mid to late May, like around Mother's Day is when I need to start doing this, maybe a little bit after. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I don't want to ramble on too much, but good luck with your boysenberries, and I'll probably check back in with you when these get bigger and I actually go to cut them and show you what that's like on new plants. Okay, so thanks for watching, and until next time, good luck out there.